Type 9.
What's going on, guys? Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to another pre-market live stream here with the Everyday Growth Advisors. Hope you are doing good. We had some great beats here with our earning plays that we just put in yesterday. Of course, if you were part of the Discord community, you would have seen these. We actually intended to play a Netflix here, as you can see, to the downside. We had a debit spread put for a 315, 320 debit. Obviously, Netflix did get there yesterday when news broke of its earnings, but then it got bought up very quickly because of mixed earnings. This morning, we also have Tesla, which is another trade that we took. 170, 165 debit spread. Tesla's currently trading at about 178. So we'll see if it actually can get there after earnings, which I think it reports after the close today. So that'll be something to watch out for as well. Morgan Stanley with a $86 put and pretty much hit this one nicely as well. Perfectly pre-market at 86 bucks. So this one's going to be in the money, and it's a pretty nice beat for us. So 3 out of 3. Hopefully Netflix will kind of move down today, and that will give us a nice win for this debit spread. We did take next week expiries for most of these, so we do have some time on these to play out. Let's cover the macro real quick so that we can talk about what's going on with the market, and then we're going to dive into the individual charts. If you want me to cover something specific, go ahead, put it in the comments or the chat right now so I can do that for you right at the end of the stream. So as if you've been following the stream for the couple of last weeks, we've been talking about how this bull wave has been something that we have been predicting for a while. The rise up into 41.58 and all the way up to 41.80. This was provided on a newsletter on Sunday this week, where we talked about how this last push is going to go up. And on Monday's live stream, I covered that we get one more final push up before the start of the sell-off, and that's what we're kind of seeing here a little bit. And if we do continue to break these pivots down below 41.24 today on SPX, then we likely see more downside all the way down at 4100 and then 40.60 down below in probably in the next week or so. Remember, this is a OPEX week, so after Wednesday things tend to get hot and heavy. Dealers are trying to push their exposure out in terms of contracts, gamma exposure and delta exposure out, and so that's going to be something that we'll be watching in the next 2 days. Looking at the NASDAQ here, you can see that a lot of the rejection has been on the NASDAQ, and we can see that the NASDAQ has been kind of trending sideways here for a really extended period of time. The pivot for the downside still remains 12,900, or actually, if you want to be really specific about it, it's going to be about 12,860. And then the upside pivot is going to be 13,208 or 13,210 roughly. IWM still remains pegged sideways here. 179 still not able to break. Even after yesterday's session, it was kind of weak. So small mid cap still not strengthening. As I mentioned, this is unlikely to strengthen until we see that loosening in financial conditions in probably the second half of this year. So this is going to be something that we'll be watching for a unique opportunity in the future. But as of right now, this is not something that we want to trade. Sectors wise, it's been really a mixed bag this past couple of sessions. The VIX kind of came up a little bit pre-market, and now it's kind of up just 2%. And most importantly, the bond market is seeing yields rise across the board. You can see mostly on the front end here with the 1 month yield has been kind of seeing a little bit of selling, and then kind of a mixed bag between the 2, 3, 5, and 10 years, all the way up to the 20 and 30 years. The mid belly of this bond market is still not improving. So as I've mentioned many times before, you need to remember that the bond market is the single most important instrument to look for in the stock market, because it provides that plumbing and liquidity for capital. Heading into the dollar index, we saw a double bottom here with that continued rally to the upside. The dollar has been pretty strong, and remember that the dollar is a really important thing to watch here, because dollar denominated assets will tend to underperform when the dollar starts to go up. It reduces the pricing parity and the consumption capability of people buying into US denominated assets, and this causes the valuations of those assets to deteriorate if the dollar continues to go further up here. So we'll be looking for this key break here out of the 102.282. If that continues to the upside, then there is possibly more downside on SPX. CTA trend followers are still pretty much strong on the buying side of this coin, so you have to be aware of this as we head into OPEX this week. JP Morgan still really nice beat on the earnings, and kind of still hanging out here in the supply zone. I believe yesterday I posted on the Telegram channel. If you guys are part of the Telegram channel, I've been posting a lot of stuff on there. Make sure that you get in there. It's free, and the link is in the description below if you want to join. The runners on the JPM contracts are at about 745%. Yep, you heard me right. Almost close to 1,000% now. So we'll see if the GPM can continue to climb. If not, I'm happy with taking 600% or something like that. That's 10 contracts, which are roughly about $5,000. Not really that much of a big deal so far. Now heading on to the performance for this week so far, the main account is up about $2,400, not really that much, and the small account is up about $42. So the 5K challenge is still on. We've been playing it really tight to the vest because it's an OPEX week, and I mentioned very early on Monday's live stream that this is not a week to take unnecessary risk. This is a week where you hang back and chill, because a lot of this exposure is going to be rolled up and out, and you need to be able to understand why and how that's going to happen. Tesla also, as I mentioned in Monday's live stream, I was mentioning, and I put this little forecast down, so you can see Tesla gapped down pretty heavy this morning pre-market, and has broken down below this pennant. So we are looking for a retrace now. We want to retrace back up to around the 180 mark, or 181, somewhere around there. 181.50 is also okay. 182 would be a bit too much, but if it can go and cover the gap at 184, then I would say that's a reversal. So we want to be really cognizant about what Tesla is doing here, because I think the price action here dictates that it might further fall further. And remember that it's going to be posting earnings after the market closes, I believe today. Yeah, after market closes today. So you want to be taking a keen watch on that one. We are playing Tesla for earnings. We're playing it through a debit spread. So we took the 165, 170 puts. We sold the 165 and bought the 170 puts. So therefore, we get a debit on that one. I believe each contract costed roughly like $1. So it's really not much of a bet. It's pretty low risk bet. Like for me, the whole position makes up roughly about $4,000, which is a little less than about 2% for me on my portfolio. So a very, very risk averse bet with very decent risk to reward ratio. So the risk to reward ratio for that Tesla bet, it was 1:3 or 1:4 yesterday. I think today that risk to reward ratio is going to lessen a little bit, but if you can find a spread that is in your favor, you might be able to play that one pretty significantly as well. Boeing, not really much to cover there. BABA has been kind of selling off after that positive news the day before. Looks like a lot of manipulation on BABA so far. Not really been seeing a lot of upside on this just yet. We're still waiting for that, little smoke signal to pull the trigger on this to the upside. So I'll be watching that one quickly. MS, Morgan Stanley, as I mentioned, this was a great earnings play. We hit that one on the head. Also, we've been seeing some unusual options activity on Charles Schwab. This is the broker that owns TD Ameritrade. We've been looking at some 57 calls that have been coming in through the Vine, and I might take a stab at this maybe if I see some momentum going. But I'm not really that keen to play something that's been really in a downtrend and continues to be in a downtrend. So, yeah, not really anything to really cover there. Apart from that, Google kind of weak here and continues to be weak on the 4-hour chart. It looks like it got rejected with the double top here, and looks like it continues to break down. So if Google starts to lose it here, and then Apple starts to lose it here, and then Microsoft starts to lose it here, you already know what's about to happen. The market's about to correct downward, and that might be the start of this downward wave. So we'll be watching that one pretty closely. Amazon didn't play out as expected. And that's okay. You have to be ready for both the upside and downside plays. Remember, as a trader, your job is not to guess where the market is going. It's to be prepared to take any outcome that the market chooses. And that way you are going to be in control all the time. And you have to be aware of that. Now, the other one that I want to talk about is NVDA. And this one was an ultimate bull trap. Just early this week, I've been talking about NVIDIA on this live stream for, I want to say, a good half of about 3 weeks now. Ever since it started rallying and we were bullish on semiconductors, it looks like now it is finally starting to exhaust. And with that outflows in semis and technology from the prime broker report that I have been talking about for a very long time, this little last ditch effort to the upside here looks like the final push for now bears to kind of take over. So what is going to be the confirmation? The confirmation is going to be a firm break below 265. If we can get there and bears can really dominate this market, we'll be looking for some downside plays on this. My recommendation here is not to get ahead of yourself and stop trying to catch this. You will know when this is going to pivot into a downside wave. And when it does, you'll be prepared for it because you've been watching the pre-market live streams with EGA. So if you've been listening and you've been paying attention, you will be able to navigate this very easily when the time does come. I will let you guys know that this is the time that I'm going to go short. So it's one of the perks of you being consistent and attending this live stream. It's what you get for paying attention and being disciplined. So I do want to thank all of you guys who do turn up time after time and attend these live streams. Once again, if you're here and you enjoy these live streams, make sure you smash that like button on YouTube so that the YouTube algorithm can do its thing and push this video out to more people. As I mentioned over and over again, you don't need to do anything to support this channel. You don't need to pay a single dime. All I ask is for you to hit the like button so that YouTube can push this video to other people and we can help as many people as possible navigate their pre-markets. So that way they're not going to be so lost and wondering as, they usually are. So share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your pet hamster. I don't really care. But, just share it because that's important to me. It's important for me to spread the information that is available to everybody. And I think it's good that we help as many people as possible through this process. So that's all I have for you guys today. Not really much to cover. I anticipate that today is going to be another day where we get a rinse of gamma once again, where the market's going to kind of maybe attempt to go one more time to the upside. I would wait very patiently for us to break the pivot at around 41.20. And if we start making lower lows below 41.15, then we need to wait for that wave up. Remember, a downtrend is only confirmed when you have lower highs and lower lows. Right now, we don't have that yet, right? This is still a higher high. This is a higher high. This is a higher high, right? This is a higher high. So we want to see SPX go higher here and then reject lower. That will be the first confirmation. Then move with the aggressive wave impulse down, and then a wave up is where we'll enter the next, right? So we still have a lot of time on this for it to play out. And I think that heading into the end of this month, April tends to be a bullish seasonal month. We don't want to play this very, abruptly. We want to take our time with it. Remember, the stock market is like, a girl that you're trying to date. You got to take your time with it, make love to it, and, just be cool. Don't try to, rush. It's not going to work. Just be really calm and approach it with a smile. And every time that you do that, you will see that the patience is going to pay off. So if you have any questions, comments, or you want me to cover something, go ahead, put it in the comments right now so I can do it. If not, I'm going to jump off here and hold the the live trading session with the rest of the team on Discord in a little bit. I don't anticipate to be trading much this week. I've said it many times. OPEX weeks are weeks that you honestly could just take off. But yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. So go ahead, put it in the comments now, and I'll get to it. Not really much to cover apart from that, honestly. The rest of these sectors are all just kind of trading flat. XLI did break out yesterday. I'll be watching this one. Industrials have been looking kind of interesting in the past couple of sessions. You can see technology starting to exhaust here a little bit. Energy also, it's kind of exhausting. So Yeah, there's just a lot of mixed signals right now in the market. Financials did see a little bit of a rebound. We'll see if we can continue to see some strength. Healthcare is done rotating, so we'll see outflows in this very shortly. Consumer staples, also another sector that might see a little bit of upside, up to 77, but not really worth the risk to reward ratio. The squeeze is not worth it. Consumer discretionary still pretty weak. And yeah, so honestly, not a lot of different sectors that we really have our eyes on right now. We need to see these setups start to form. You can see SMH semiconductors here starting to move further down here. You know, if it loses this 247 level, that's going to be a big one to the downside. So that will be the time when we take our short positions on NVDA. And I believe that will align really nicely. So, okie dokie. I don't see any questions. I don't see any comments. And I don't see any chart requests. So I'm going to end the stream right here. I hope that you guys have a good trading session. Make sure that you don't over allocate risk today and be safe out there. It's going to be a tough trading session in this next 1 to 2 days. I don't recommend pressing, and I don't recommend adding additional risk for absolutely no reason. Keep it tight, keep it nimble. You know, be able to get in and out of the market as you will. And oh yeah, you're welcome, man. The best 1979. Appreciate you being here. What's up, Mark and Chirui? Welcome back. Thank you for coming in. And also, yeah. So remember, Friday OPEX. It's gonna lead to a lot of exposure that's kind of turned around. Just play it safe. Don't do anything erratic this week. Remember something, guys. Next week is a huge earnings week, right? You have majority of SPX companies reporting next week. You have the big hitters next week. So this week, don't exhaust all your capital to the point. Leave some dry powder so you have that in your gun to fire next week. If you're going to do it all this week, you're going to be spent. And then next week, you're going to come back to the market and you'll be like, oh man, I should have held back, right? So don't do that. Wait patiently. Patience pays. And I'll leave you guys with that. With a quote from my math teacher from college. Always remember that luck favors the prepared. All right, I'll leave you guys with that. Have a good one. And I'll see you guys back on Friday for the end of this week's stream. And peace. Love you all. Bye.